Head to Safeway this week for these amazing deals for members. Enjoy Signature Select chicken, boneless, skinless breasts, thighs, or wings for just $3.99 per pound. Creamy Hass avocados or mangoes, just 99 cents each. And Oro Wheat Variety Bread, 24-ounce selected varieties, buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
Now it's time for No Pucks Given with Dan Kingerski of Pittsburgh Hockey Now. Penguin scoops, locker room buzz, and straight-up analysis. No fluff, all hockey. Now, here's Dan.
And it is No Pucks Given, somewhere around episode 42. We are talking with Vince Comunale, is joining us on this week's show. We are recording this actually before the Steelers game on Sunday, which also means before I head down to the arena for the Penguins-Dallas Stars game. You'll hear this Monday morning. Of course, the way things work, Vince, my life is always a little bit of Murphy's Law, which means there's going to be something extraordinary in the game Sunday. Like Sidney Crosby has 11 points. Tristan Jarry stopped 63 shots. Let's just assume that thing happened and, oh, wow, it wasn't that great. Now, let's get into, I think, the broader topics, because nothing's going to change after Sunday. No. Even if they win 8-1 or they lose 8-1, I don't think it's going to change the fundamental structure of this Penguins season. So the three topics we're going to talk with Vince about this week here on No Pucks Given, which is on the Odyssey Podcast Network, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. So like, subscribe, download, and do all of that fun stuff. We're going to talk about Sidney Crosby and Ben Kindle, because let me fix my face there. Center me. I just noticed yesterday, because Crosby, Chris Letang, Ville Koivunen, Brian Rust, they remained on the ice for like 90 minutes after practice, goofing around again. And I don't mean just goofing around by talking, actually just out there playing hockey and having a ball. We're also going to talk about Tristan Jarry. Elliot Friedman on Hockey Night in Canada Saturday, confirming there's been a lot of smoke in the last 24 to 48 hours. So by Monday, it'll be 72 hours. And Elliot really, I think, detailed some of the obvious, but also confirmed the level of conversations between the Penguins and the Oilers. We're going to get into that and maybe what the Penguins really should do here, because it's not necessarily cut and dry. And then with a healthy lineup, I would expect Noel Acciari and Justin Brazeau to have played Sunday. If they don't play Sunday, and you're hearing this Monday morning like, Kingerski, they didn't play, they're going to play probably Tuesday. They're that close, and I chatted with Noel Acciari on Saturday, and he basically gave me the green flag, though he had to stop just a hair short of that. So I'll hold up the topics. You have to read my handwriting for those of you on the video side. Vince, I want to start with Tristan Jarry, and I want to get your take on this, because it really is it is more complicated than just simply, well, let's trade Jarry, as it has been for the last 18 months when everybody was so gung-ho to ship him out of town. Well, the situation has changed, hasn't it?
It has. The Penguins are, I don't want to say firmly in a playoff spot, but they're in a playoff spot. They're in a playoff race, and he's been your best goalie. So the question becomes, do you want to stay in the playoff race? And I'm not saying you can't stay in the playoff race with Shilovs or Miroshov, but it's different. But he's also been part of the Penguins organization for 9-10 years now, and we've seen this before. He's made all-star teams before. He's had great stretches of play before, but then it all comes crashing down eventually. So,
well, especially in the second half of the season, that
Exactly.
was really when he struggled, like after the all-star games and after game 50 or so.
Yeah, so, I mean, past precedent would tell you this is not going to last. And I mean, somebody who's been in the league as long as he has now, you have to look at what has happened in the past as the kind of judgment. It's,
you're in the hesitant camp. You're like, it's great how well he's playing, but you're unsold, I guess is maybe the word I'd use.
When push comes to shove, he hasn't been there, unfortunately. Nice enough guy and all of that stuff. But, I went on Twitter after the game the other night in Tampa and I said, maybe they should trade him right now before Edmonton finds out what he really is. And I mean, maybe a little harsh, but I mean, that's what his past, his history has been.
That's all fair. Maybe I'm being a little bit Pollyanna or uncharacteristically optimistic about something or anything or anybody. He just seems a little bit different. There's a personal piece about him this time. He still doesn't like talking to the media. I mean, really, who would? I understand every player. I mean,
look at us. Who would want to talk to us?
Yeah, there are better things to spend your time doing, but I don't know. He is playing well in an entirely sustainable sort of way. I mean, he made a couple of saves in Tampa Bay. I mean, first of all, they were great saves, but the manner in which he made a couple of the lateral saves, in which he held his technique going post to post, paddle in the proper spot, arms in the proper spot, moving brusquely back and forth. I was like, okay, Tristan Jarry, especially in a third period of years past, is flailing. Yes. Arms up, legs wide, just, he would look like an octopus just sort of drowning or on land, whatever you want to say.
If the ice were melting.
Yeah, if the ice were melting, there was a real control about his game, even as Tampa just blitzed the Penguins in a way that no one really quite has this season.
If that game had lasted another minute and a half, they would have lost in regulation. That was, but to touch on what you're saying, yes, he does look a little bit different as far as confidence goes. And I noticed it in the Philadelphia game when he's coming out and making saves, taking shots at guys with his blocker. But you didn't see that in the past from him. It definitely seems like it's a different level of intensity and a different level of confidence. But again, like I'm just going on his past history, and I just at any moment I feel like, okay, when's this gonna crash? I hope I'm wrong for everybody's sake, but
what you guys didn't see on TV Thursday, or maybe it caught a glimpse of it. Because Jake Gensel was that Tampa power play was ridiculous. Kucherov and Gensel. I mean, you've got two geniuses, just pulling strings there. Gensel got a little too close to Jarry, and they were teammates for what, 7 years, 6 years, whatever it was. And Jarry just two-handed him right across the back of the legs. No favor, no quarter given, just whack. He got him pretty good, and Gensel got out of the way. He, of course, went back because that's Jay Gensel. But Jarry established his territory. So what do you do now? So you're in the camp. If Edmonton comes to the table with the right offer, and by right, I don't mean extraordinary. I just mean the right offer. You make the trade right now.
I do. I mean, Miroshov is your future. He's 21 years old. Shelov's, I think he is an NHL goaltender, maybe not a starting NHL goaltender, but a solid backup, kind of along the lines of Nedeljkovic or Casey DeSmith, that type of.
That's fair.
Yeah. So maybe it accelerates your plan of rebuilding, retooling, whatever you want to call it, where you're all of a sudden Miroshov is now the guy here.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's face it, that's a large chunk of salary cap that you have with Jarry there. You're probably going to have to retain salary. I understand that.
Well, no, that's actually one thing Elliot Friedman said on Saturday was that the Penguins have said no. They've drawn a line, 0 salary retention. I can tell you didn't read Pittsburgh Hockey Now this morning.
Well, but I don't know. I'll believe that when I see that. I've read a lot of different reports that said the Penguins would probably retain some salary, but regardless.
Ryan Rishog of Sportsnet, was it Thursday morning, said, reported that there have been almost no talks of Edmonton chasing a goalie. Now Ryan is, also a top flight reporter, not necessarily. He doesn't specialize in the stuff, the stock and trade of the rumors that Elliot does. But so I was like, oh, but then for Elliot, 36 hours later to kind of come back over the top with 24 to 48 hours, I was like, oh, okay. I will tell you this, and it's going to kind of lead into one of our topics. I don't think I do trade Jarry right now. And that's because I'm not necessarily sold on Shilov's ability to be there day in and day out. He just seems to me to be one of those guys who can be good in big moments. There've been, a lot of goaltenders like that. When the adrenaline is pumping, they're great. But without that, they're not even passable. And I really have a concern or I suspect that Shilovs might fall into that category. But also, too, to see how happy and how much fun Sidney Crosby is having, out there goofing around on the ice with Ben Kindle and whatever they're doing, all these games that they play. If you trade Jarry and it goes poorly, that smile goes away pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have seen Sidney Crosby the last couple of years. I don't want to say miserable, but he's had to struggle through it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been fun, happy fun times. So they're winning. Sidney Crosby is happy. You know what? If you miss your window to trade Tristan Jarry, I guess so be it. If he does tank, then you just basically cut bait next summer, whether it's waivers or, a 7th round pick, whatever it might be. But you take that shot, I think. I'm okay with taking a shot right now.
It's funny. I have the same feeling about Erik Karlsson that you have about Jarry. I think that you do not trade Erik Karlsson.
Oh, I actually agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. You've come this far now.
Yeah.
And besides, Erik Karlsson wanted to win. What are the Penguins doing? Yeah. They're winning. So the team he talked about, like Detroit and all these other teams that might want Erik Karlsson, they're actually below the Penguins in the standings.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's obviously a huge cap hit also, but there is no player coming in to do what Erik Karlsson can do. Like the Penguins have Murashov and Shilovs that can potentially do what Jarry's doing.
Right.
There's nobody coming in to take the place of what Erik Karlsson's doing this season.
No, Harrison Brunick, even on his best day, all respect to Harrison Brunick, he's not the next Erik Karlsson.
No. So, I mean, if they're going to stay in this playoff race, which why not? The Eastern Conference is terrible this season.
That might be the worst thing, right?
Yeah.
Would be to advance to the Stanley Cup final and just get rolled.
Yeah, by like Colorado.
Colorado, which is probably what would happen too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Colorado is just. I mean, I know they lost the Islanders the other day, but that notwithstanding, they're a juggernaut.
Yeah, they actually have to lose some games. Does Colorado, because if you get too far out in front, we've seen too many teams. You have to start coasting. You start saving energy in March, and then when April hits, or the way the playoffs go, May when they start now, they can't hit the afterburners and get into that playoff mode because they just haven't been tested, or no adversity and all of that, throughout the year, and they're caught kind of naked, basically, like the Capitals and
Winnipeg
Ottawa
last season.
What's that?
Winnipeg last season.
You get too far out in front, you're toast. It's like, oh no, you almost have to start trading players to get worse. Our player to be named later is actually the player we want back in 2 months.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Anyway, so, we can probably talk about Erik Karlsson. If we're going to talk trades, let's put Erik Karlsson and Brian Rust and Rickard Rakell. Let's put them. Let's review all of that, because that's how we spent all summer, was expecting these guys to be traded. And honest to goodness, I don't think Kyle Dubas could have predicted this. No way. Even though he said a sky high price on Brian Rust and a high price on Rickard Rakell, and he stuck to his guns, expecting to get a return for Erik Karlsson, despite the last 2 years, which went, terribly.
That's putting it nicely.
He was not a good defenseman for the Penguins the last 2 seasons. Full stop. So now we come full circle, where Brian Rust is rounding into form. Erik Karlsson is. I mean, if I had to vote right now, I would think long and hard about giving Erik Karlsson like my 5th place Norris vote. 4th, 5th place.
Yeah. I mean, he's really, really good.
Yeah, and that's to compliment him. Rickard Rakell was playing well before he was out, point per game guy. So what do you do, Vince? Someone meets the sky high price on Rickard Rakell, let's say, when he comes back in December. He plays a couple of weeks. He gets his legs back underneath of him. I know Toronto wants top 6. I know Ottawa wants a top 6er. I'm trying to think of other teams who are in the market for a top 6 winger. One of them comes calling with the right price. Do you?
That's a tough decision right now, because look at how well this team is playing without Rakell in the lineup, without Brazeau. I know you didn't mention Brazeau, but without him in the lineup, they're treading water against very good teams.
Put a pin in Brazeau. I'm going to come back. Let's come back to him after this.
Yeah.
The beauty of a podcast, I guess we can do this. It's not radio with a commercial coming up. We're just having a conversation.
What is this lineup going to look like when those guys are back in there and healthy? We saw how good Evgeny Malkin played with Mantha and Brazeau. Those two, that line is huge. I mean, they were creating a lot of space for Malkin out there.
Well, even yesterday at practice, they put Kevin Hayes there on Malkin's maintenance day. It's like it didn't get any smaller.
No. So it's interesting. And, you talked about the Ottawas and Torontos of the world. Do you really want to trade one of these guys to a team that is potentially chasing the same playoff spot that you are? Because, the Penguins are probably going to be in that 3rd place in the division, kind of 7-8 seed, and those teams you mentioned, the Ottawas and Torontos, they're probably going to be fighting for that same exact playoff, wild card spot.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take that obstacle off the table in my universe, because I don't believe the Penguins are Stanley Cup contenders.
No.
So if you miss the playoffs by a point or two because you traded Rickard Rakell to the team that claimed it, I would have to assume the return was in fact setting you up for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough decision, but like I said, hopefully that they'll get the opportunity before the trade deadline to have a really good snapshot of what this team looks like with everybody healthy, and then make your decision from there. If for whatever reason everybody healthy doesn't look great, which would be shocking to me, but it could happen,
it's happened before where, at the end of the season, everybody comes back and is healthy, and all of a sudden the team looks completely different because
is that 2019 or 2000? No, yeah, 19, because then 20 was the bubble and all that nonsense.
Yeah, that season, it was almost like, oh, we could breathe a sigh of relief now. Everybody's back and healthy. We don't have to play that style that we were now because all the guys are back. We could just go back.
They got healthy and they fell apart.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is always a possibility, but I'm really interested to see what this team looks like when everybody is healthy, and then kind of make your decision from there. Sure. I would personally like them to see them trade the, kind of, and this is no disrespect to any of these guys, but like kind of the Noah Chari types, that are kind of blocking some of these younger guys from getting regular, playing time. So we'll see, but it's definitely, Kyle Dubas is in a tough position, and probably a position he never dreamed he was going to be in.
Right. I mean, yeah, these are best case scenarios. I'm going to maybe pick a little bit here at kind of nuance it. Mm-hmm. You know what? You were correct. Without Ricard Raquel in the lineup, they're still 14-7-5.
Yeah.
I would trade him. And I've been on this bandwagon now for a solid year plus. As well as Evgeny Malkin is playing, there'd be no skin off anybody's nose if he moved to Sidney Crosby's line. No. Almost full time, because then that does open up a spot. You now get to put Ben Kindle in a better position. You now get to bring up Tristan Brose and put him in a good position. And you still have this team with tons of flexibility. Let's just say Ben Kindle isn't handling the second line center duty very well. Okay. If you have to hide Tommy Novak there or Kevin Hayes on Crosby's wing, as they have done.
They have been, yeah.
I'm not, honestly, if that might happen Sunday night, is Tommy Novak being on Crosby's line. Right. I will say this now, and I will eat crow later. That's not going to work.
No, we both could tell you that's not going to work.
That is launching a rocket with water. It's just not going to work. Anyway, you can always go back. You can always, kind of work backward there, rather than if you hold on. Now you may have missed your opportunity to continue building for the future, which until I hear Kyle Dubas, shrug and say, well, the situation has changed, I am still assuming that this team is largely on their own this season. He built them. They've got prospects to plug and play. That's the team. They maybe add a little bit of a veteran towards the deadline like they did last year, getting Novak and Luke Shen. Mm-hmm. But look, by and large, this is the team. So you can, if something doesn't work, you're going to have enough decent players to keep going. But I will say this: there are a number of veterans that I think I've wondered if they're featuring Matt Dumba to trade him, because they've been hanging on to Harrison Brunick for dear life. When by all accounts, I mean, this can't be great for his development. I mean, sitting for a few weeks, okay, but a couple months, not so good. I have to think they're trying to get something for some of these guys like Dumba, like a Matt everyone's a Matt now.
Yeah.
Matt Crosby, Matt Malkin, Matt Rust. Yeah.
Matt Collins back in the lineup. It's weird. I don't know what's going on here.
Connor Clifton and so on and so forth. I have to think that maybe as we get on the other side of Christmas, that a lot of those guys, you might see Dubas start to pick away second round draft picks, which can be flipped for veteran help, or mid-tier prospects as teams need a right-handed defenseman, so on and so forth. Let me get to Justin Brazeau, however. And I've been a little bit guilty of glossing over him. And the reason for that, Vince, is I I don't see this guy being a 25 goal scorer. I in my mind, sure, it could happen. He looked great in the first few weeks of the season. I just can't see any level of that productivity continuing.
It was a shame when he got hurt, because the same is what you're saying. When they first started training camp, I had to look him up. I watch a lot of hockey. And I was like, who's this guy? And
no, he was a depth guy in Boston who finally got a bit of a shot last year. He gets traded to Minnesota, where he puts up promptly, was it 1 or 2 points in 19 games?
Yeah.
They were looking for power play help, and it didn't work.
And that's what I wonder. Is he going to revert back to that kind of third, fourth line type of guy who's, like you said, putting up 2 points in 19 games? Or is he going to thrive playing on that line with Mantha and Malkin just because of who he's playing with, the size of the people he's playing with, and maybe he just needed that opportunity. But we don't know that because he got hurt right at the prime of,
at the zenith season of his coming out party.
Yeah, exactly.
Right before they call him to the stage. He gets hurt. Vince, we're going to take a quick break on the podcast side. For those of you on video, we're going to keep going. It will seem like nothing, but on the Odyssey Podcast Network and the Apple and Spotify and everywhere else, we'll be back right after this.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.